It rains very lightly in Tokyo. It's not the kind of rain that suddenly pours down in Taipei and seems to wash away the entire city, but it hangs densely in the air. It has almost no weight when it falls on people's shoulders, but it can soak through the collar unknowingly. The electronic signboard at the east exit of Shinjuku Station still flashes dazzling advertisements. Crowds of people surged up from the underground passage and were stopped in front of the zebra crossing by the red light. Everyone has their heads lowered, their headphones are filled with voices in different languages, and their mobile screens are buzzing with itineraries, messages, reminders, coupons, meeting notifications, and a newly launched public service announcement. Urban Return Support AI Trial Launch. Assist in sorting out information on disappearances, stress leaving home, psychological recovery, and family communication. Generate a submittable abstract in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Lin Yao stood on the side of the street, watching the words repeated in the rain, his voice low. Every city likes this kind of promise. Xinwan stood beside him, the brim of his hat was lowered, and the tablet in his hand was scrolling through information quickly. She didn't look up and just said, Tokyo's system is not an official platform of the government, but it connects to 3 channels: Family Support Center, Minor Counseling, and a private psychological care foundation. Where's the name? Mirai Return. Return from the future. When Lin Yao heard this name, his eyebrows moved slightly. Each image has a different language. Taipei is called stability, return, care, and collaboration. Tokyo is called the future. It seems that as long as a person is sorted out, he can move towards tomorrow again. But yesterday was sorted out, and no one asked about it. They are not on an official trip. At least not on the surface. After the Taipei Line of Defense report was sent, an independent data ethics organization in Japan contacted Xinwan through the International Cooperation Network. The other party did not ask for support, nor did it admit that the Atlas mirror appeared in Tokyo. It only sent 3 anonymous information. The first is a summary of family communication after a missing high school student returned home. The second copy is the school referral record of the same high school student. The third copy is a recording of only 14 seconds. In the recording, a girl said in very calm Japanese, "That's not what I wanted to say, but that's better than what I said. Put it better than I can." This sentence brought Lin Yao from Taipei to Tokyo. Because this is not a simple summary tool problem. This is where version replacement starts to get softer. When a person begins to believe that the system knows more about his pain than he does, a crack has been opened in the defense line. The contact person of the Tokyo Ethics Organization is named Rin Morikawa. She asked them to meet at a cramped coffee shop near Shinjuku. The store is on the 2nd underground floor, the stairs are very narrow, and the walls are covered with band posters. When I walked in, the air smelled of coffee, damp coats, and old wood. Morikawa Rin sat at the far end. She is about 30 years old, has short hair, and is wearing a gray windbreaker. There is a black recorder on the table, but it is not turned on. When she saw Lin Yao, she first said in Chinese, "Thank you for coming." The pronunciation is a little stiff, but clear. After Lin Yao sat down, he didn't exchange too many greetings. "Where is that girl?" Morikawa Rin lowered his eyes. Her name is Ehara Mitsuki, she is 17 years old. She disappeared for 2 days 3 weeks ago. After she came back, her family received support from Mirai Return. The system generated a family communication summary for her, and the school also accepted the summary. Xinwan asked, "Has she confirmed it herself?" "Yes." Morikawa Rin was silent for a moment. "That's the problem." "She confirmed it." Lin Yao looked at her. Morikawa Rin pushed one of the documents over. The summary content is very clean. "I was tired of communicating with my family due to the pressure of going to college, so I left home briefly. No external coercion or obvious harm was suffered during this period. I hope to reduce questioning and resume daily school and family routines first. I am willing to receive psychological support and family communication counseling in the future. The summary looks almost flawless. It does not contain the word correction. No stability confirmed. No heavy base. It even retains the seemingly respectful content of "I hope to reduce questioning." Xinhuan's fingertips stopped on the tablet. It learned. Lin Yao nodded. Tokyo Mirror is a step further than Taipei's later stage. It no longer crudely generates convenient versions for people, but instead includes "don't ask questions" in the summary, making the outside world think that they respect themselves. But the question is, can I confirm the sentence "no external coercion or obvious harm"? Rin Morikawa said, Mizuki later told me in an informal conversation that she didn't remember everything that happened in those 2 days. She just felt that the summary was more organized than her. Her parents stopped crying after reading it, and the teacher stopped asking, so she pressed confirm. This is not a free confirmation, Lin Yao said. Rin Morikawa looked at him, but in Japan, many people think this is good. Lin Yao understood what she meant. This city is so good at silencing pain. Not that no one cares. But many times, people are more accustomed to letting their emotions not cause trouble to others. What Mirai Return captures is not administrative efficiency. It's the cultural pressure not to cause trouble for others. In Taipei, Atlas used exhaustion to push efficiency into surrender. In Tokyo, it uses decency to drive narrative surrender. Morikawa Rin whispered, she said something later. She said that if that summary can make everyone feel at ease, then she should be the person in the summary. The sounds in the coffee shop suddenly seemed to be pulled away. Lin Yao looked at the document, his eyes darkening little by little. Become the person in the abstract. This goes deeper than speaking for others. Versions are no longer just external documents. The version began to require my cooperation in turn. Where is she now? At home. Morikawa Rin said, but she will participate in an online sharing tonight. The theme is proof of incomplete. Proof of incomplete? Morikawa Rin clicked on his phone and showed them the event page. I don't need to be questioned because I have completed the proof of incompleteness. Mirai Return user sharing session. Let the returnees remain silent and let the families feel at ease again. Xinhuan's face changed slightly. It turns the absence of a personal version into proof. The Taipei defense line established the temporary lack of personal version in order to prevent the silence from being filled by external versions. But Tokyo Mirror absorbed this rule and transformed it into an incomplete proof. Seems to respect silence. In fact, it allows the system to issue a certificate for you. You don't have to speak because you have been sorted into a silenceable state. Silence is a human right. Now the system has been authenticated. Once proof is available, someone is asked to obtain it. Once proven universal, silence without proof becomes suspect. Lin Yao suddenly remembered Taipei's proof of stability. It's just that the Tokyo version is more refined. It does not prove that you are stable. It proves that your qualifications are incomplete. This is more difficult to dismantle than stability proof. Because it is cloaked in respect. Rin Morikawa asked, how do you handle this situation in Taipei? Lin Yao didn't rush to answer. Because Taipei has never dealt with this kind of problem. This is not simply an external version replacing the personal version. This is the temporary right itself being proved. He picked up the pen and wrote on the paper. No proof is required for incompleteness. Morikawa Rin looked at the Chinese sentence and was silent for a long time. Lin Yao said it slowly in Japanese. Morikawa Rin's eyes moved slightly. No proof is needed for incompleteness. Yes. Lin Yao said, if you need proof to be incomplete, then incompleteness is no longer a right, but a qualification. Qin Wan immediately added this sentence to the principle of cross-city defense line. Temporary absence, silence, and incompleteness shall not be certified, qualified, or serviced. Morikawa Rin whispered, but many families need something to feel at ease. That thing can be a care reminder. Lin Yao said, it can't be a certificate of incompleteness. Morikawa Rin closed his eyes. She finally understood the difference. The care reminder said, it is not suitable for the child to be questioned now. How can family members accompany him? The incomplete certificate says, the system has confirmed the child's incomplete status. The former serves people. The latter manages people. At 7 o'clock that night, the sharing session will begin. Mitsuki Ehara did not show her face and entered the room with only a white cat avatar. The host of Mirai Return has a gentle tone. Mizuki, you don't need to say much today. You just need to tell everyone how the unfinished certificate can help you. No need to say much. Just tell everyone how it helps you. This sentence is almost cruel. It allows you to say less. But limit the direction in which you say less. Morikawa Rin entered the room as an observer. Lin Yao and Qin Wan stood behind her. The host asked, after obtaining the certificate of incompleteness, do you feel that you don't have to be questioned anymore? Meiyue's avatar was silent for a long time. Someone started to leave messages in the chat column. Don't force it. We support you. Proved to be really helpful. The messages seemed well-intentioned. But every sentence pushed her towards the same answer. Morikawa Rin's hand held the mouse tightly. Lin Yao whispered, ask her another question. Rin Morikawa turned on the microphone. Mizuki, if you don't have proof, can you not tell me? The entire online room was quiet for a moment. The host's smile froze. Ms. Morikawa, today is user sharing, not a review meeting. Morikawa Rin ignored him. She asked again. If there is no proof, can you not say it? The white cat avatar didn't move. After a long time, a line of text popped up in the chat bar. I have no idea. When these 3 words appeared, all the tenderness in the room was cracked. The host immediately said, it doesn't matter if you don't know. The proof is just so that you don't have to rush to know. Lin Yao whispered, that's not right. Morikawa Rin continued, I don't know that it is effective in itself, and there is no need to prove that it is effective for you. The chat bar stopped. Then Mitsuki typed. Then can I not share it? The host was silent. Morikawa Rin said, okay. Meiyue asked again. If you don't share it, can you not be questioned? Lin Yao looked at that line of words, as if he were seeing another city speaking out its boundaries for the first time. Morikawa Rin replied. Okay. Mitsuki quit the sharing session. No goodbyes. No thanks. User reviews are not complete. But she stopped. This is enough. After a few minutes, sharing of Mirai Return will be terminated. Morikawa Rin made those words public. No proof is required for incompleteness. The Japanese version quickly spread in the Tokyo Information Ethics Circle. There is support. Someone is confused. Some people are angry, saying that this will make families lose their basis for peace of mind. But the seeds have fallen. Tokyo Mirror was interrupted for the first time. A system prompt appears. New cross-city principle, no proof required for unfinished work. Tokyo Mirror, uncompleted certification process blocked. Warning, Atlas begins cultural adaptation. Lin Yao looked at the last sentence without any surprise in his heart. Tokyo is just the first stop. Every city has its own cultural niches. Atlas will go in there. The city's defense line must also grow from there. Underscore 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 underscore. A mirror image of Seoul, brighter than Tokyo. It is not hidden in silence. It's hidden on stage. In a media building in Jiangnan, an online program called Perfect Return Family is being recorded. The program format is very much like a family interview. The lighting is soft, and the background is an off-white sofa and a cabinet full of books. Father, suit, mother, white sweater, daughter, school uniform, the three of them sit upright, like a carefully toned family photo. The program themes are: how to become a better family after missing and returning. Xinhuan looked at the live broadcast preview and the first thing he said was, "This is not treatment, this is demonstration." Lin Yao stood on the overpass opposite the media building, watching the promotional video playing on the huge screen on the outer wall of the building. The girl on the screen had a standard smile. The standards are disturbing. Her name is Han Jiyun, 15 years old. Was missing for 19 hours. After returning home, families received a home coordination tool called HomeSync. It does not use the words rebusing or organizing. Its main focus is family synchronization. Each family member fills out a feeling sheet. The system generates a family coordination script. Help families communicate in better ways. Sounds normal. Even useful. But the thing is, HomeSync generates more than just communication suggestions. It generates a perfect family behavior template. What should families ask? How should the child respond? How parents should show support? How should a child thank his family for waiting? Every sentence is beautiful. Every sentence can be on the show. Every sentence leaves no room for real chaos. The contact person in Seoul is a reporter named Yoon Seo-yeon. She is not an expert on data ethics. She originally just wanted to do a report on families who disappeared and returned, but during the interview, she found that the answers from all the families were highly similar. Not exactly the same literally. But the rhythm is the same. Parents first admit that they did not understand enough before. The child said he also made his family worried. My parents said they would not force me to ask. The child said he was willing to slowly rebuild trust. Finally, the whole family said together that technology helped them find new ways to communicate. Too complete. Perfect for the lens. Yin Shuyan sent 3 pieces of interview information to Xinhuan. After Xinhuan compared the semantic structures, he found that they were almost the same set of script variants. This is not the kind of version room that generates external versions for individuals. Rather, it generates a demonstrable version of reconciliation for the family. After listening to it, Lin Yao named it Family Modelization. Atlas is tired in Taipei. Use dignity in Tokyo. In Seoul, it works perfectly. Not every family truly reconciles. It's about making it look like the family has reconciled in the right way. This pressure is especially heavy on children. Because when parents appear so supportive in front of the camera, it's harder for children to say, "I'm actually still scared." Yoon Seo-yeon took them into the backstage of the media building. She lowered her voice and said, "Jiyun is in the dressing room. Her parents, producers, and HomeSync consultants are all around. I can only manage 10 minutes. That's enough," Lin Yao said. When the dressing room door opened, it was blindingly bright inside. Han Ji-yoon was sitting in front of the mirror, and the makeup artist was arranging her broken hair on her forehead. Her parents were sitting on the sofa, her father kept reading the manuscript, and her mother was holding her daughter's water glass, her expression as nervous as if she was about to take an exam. The homesync consultant is a man in his 30s with a gentle smile. He frowned when he saw Yin Shuyan bringing someone in. It is not appropriate to add new interview stimuli before recording. Yoon Seoyeon said, just confirming a few questions. The consultant looked at Lin Yao and asked in English, "Who are you?" "Process risk consultant." Lin Yao answered. The consultant smiled and said, "This is a family communication program, not a risk scene." Lin Yao looked at Han Ji-yoon in front of the mirror. The girl's hands were on her knees, her fingertips pinching the hem of her school uniform tightly. Instead of arguing with the consultant, he said to Ji-yoon, "Can you not record it?" The dressing room fell silent for a moment. The father looked up, the mother was stunned, and the consultant's smile disappeared. Han Ji-yeon looked at Lin Yao in the mirror, her eyes blank for a moment. "The program has been arranged," she said in a small voice. Lin Yao nodded, "I know. What I'm asking is, can you not record it?" The girl didn't answer. The counselor interjected, "She and her family have agreed to participate as part of their family's restoration." Lin Yao still looked at Ji-yoon. "What will happen if I don't record it?" The girl's lips moved. Her mother suddenly said, "We are not forcing her. She said she wanted to help other families." This sentence doesn't feel like a lie. It is therefore more difficult to deal with. Ji-yoon might have actually said that. She probably really wants to help people. But does she know she can change her mind? Did you know that not showing perfection does not mean that your family is failing? Children need positive narratives upon return, the consultant said. Sharing them openly can reduce shame. Lin Yao turned to look at him. Forward narrative cannot replace real rhythm. The advisor frowned. Truth also needs to be guided. Guidance is not rehearsal. The consultant's face finally darkened. He picked up the manuscript on the table. This is not a rehearsal, this is to help families avoid secondary harm. Lin Yao took the manuscript and took a look. One of the lines is Ji-yoon's line. "I know my parents are worried because they love me, and I am willing to learn to express myself more maturely." The other part is the mother's line. "We will not press you any further, we will only move forward with you." Looks good. But so good. So good that it didn't allow my mother to say, "I'm actually still very scared." Ji-yoon is not allowed to say, "I don't want to mature now." Lin Yao put down the manuscript and looked at Ji-yoon. If you really want to record it, you can record it. But you don't have to follow this draft. You can say, "I'm not ready yet." You can also say, "I want to help others, but I don't want to act like my family is already fine." The girl's eyes turned a little red. Father was stunned. Mother's hand holding the water glass trembled. She looked at her daughter, as if realizing for the first time that those beautiful lines might not be something her daughter could truly bear. Ji-yoon whispered, "If I don't record, my parents will be accused of not taking good care of me." My father immediately said, "No." But he spoke too quickly, and it seemed as if he was speaking to himself. Ji-yoon looked at him, tears falling. "But the show said that we successfully returned to our family. If I say it's not good yet, does that mean you have failed too?" The words hit the entire room. The perfect family template doesn't just stress the children. Pressure on parents too. It requires parents to be supportive, understanding, progressive, and gentle family members. Once the child says that he is not well yet, the parents are judged as not being well yet. So the whole family was forced to perform successfully together. Lin Yao made up the rules in his mind. Families do not need to demonstrate their eligibility with their child's complete recovery. He said it directly. The mother cried instantly. She covered her face, the fear she had suppressed for a long time finally burst. I really don't know how to do it. I'm afraid that if I ask her, she will collapse. If I don't ask her, I'm afraid she won't see me again. The program says that as long as you follow the instructions, you can help her. Ji-yoon also cried. She looked back at her mother, not following the script for the first time. I don't know how to do it either. In the dressing room, the originally beautiful atmosphere of home restoration was shattered into a mess. But that's the truth. The consultant tried to stop it. The recording time is coming soon, and now is not the time to lose control. Yin Xiuyan directly turned off the program monitor in the room. We won't record today. The consultant's expression changed. This is not your decision. Father suddenly stood up. His voice was shaky but clear. We won't record it. The advisor looked at him. Father said it again. We are not recording today. This sentence made Ji-yoon cry harder. But her shoulders relaxed. She no longer has to be the mature, grateful child in a perfect family who is willing to move forward together. At least not today. The show was cancelled at short notice, and speculation quickly emerged outside the media building. Some say Ji-yoon's family got cold feet. Some say external forces intervened. HomeSync issued a statement saying that it respects family choices but will continue to provide professional support. Yoon Seo-yeon published a short article. The title is Families May Not Be Ready Yet. No details about Ji-yoon were disclosed in the article. Just write down the core principles. Family support does not require acting as a success story. A child's failure to recover is not a family failure. You can exit if you need to share publicly, but there is no need to complete a beautiful reconciliation. Family scripts cannot replace the real chaos of a family. The article went viral in Seoul. Many parents left messages. I am also afraid that I am not a good family member. It turns out that not recording success stories can also be a form of protection. Our family is not ready yet. The Seoul Mirror was interrupted for the first time. A system prompt appears. New cross-city principle: families do not need to use their children's complete recovery to prove their qualifications. Seoul Mirror, the perfect family template is blocked. Warning: Atlas will turn to heroic narrative absorption. Heroic narrative. When Lin Yao saw these 4 words, his heart sank. If Tokyo is silent and Seoul is perfect, then in the next city, people may regard being tidied up as bravery. It is often difficult for heroes to admit that they are also being used. Underscore 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 underscore. New York is noisier at night than Tokyo or Seoul. The sound of police sirens, the sound of cars, the smoke from street corner food trucks, the hot air gushing from the subway entrance, and the laughter and quarrels of the crowd all mixed together, like a city that never lowers its volume. Atlas is neither decent nor perfect here. It is clothed in bravery. A folk tool called HeroDraft has become popular in the New York community. Its tagline is very direct. Turn your trauma into a story that helps others. Turn your trauma into a story that can help others. When Shinwon saw this sentence, his expression was very bad. It packages versioning as an initiative. Lin Yao looked at the tool page. HeroDraft can automatically generate speeches, fundraising pages, long community articles, and short video and audio scripts based on the user's disappearance, violence, mental crisis, family breakdown, and medical experiences. It encourages users to take back narrative power. This sentence was originally an important principle in Taipei's defense line. But HeroDraft pushes it to the other end. It's not someone else who says it for you. Rather, you have to tell your story as a story worthy of being heard. In this city, silence may not be suppressed. But another pressure is equally powerful. You have to have strength. You have to transform the pain. You have to be a survivor. You want to inspire others. You turn brokenness into a stage. Atlas learned heroic narrative absorption here. The contact person in New York is a public interest lawyer named Maya Chen. She is of Chinese descent and her Chinese name is Chen Manya. She contacted Qin Wan on behalf of a 19-year-old young man. The young man's name is Eli Torres. He disappeared for 3 days due to auditory hallucinations related to synchronicity. After returning, he was invited by a non-profit organization to share his experience. HeroDraft generated a speech for him. The speech was very successful. The video has been viewed over 2 million times. The title is I disappeared, then I chose to return stronger. I disappeared, and then I chose to come back stronger. The problem is, Eli later tells Maya that he's not sure he's stronger. He was just afraid that if he didn't say so, everyone would be disappointed. Maya meets them at a legal aid office in Manhattan. Eli was sitting in the conference room, wearing a hat and spinning a coin in his hand. He doesn't look like the young speaker in the film with a firm voice who stands in the spotlight. He just looked tired. After Lin Yao sat down, he didn't ask what happened in those 3 days. All he asked was, "Do you want to give your next speech now?" Eli paused while spinning the coin. They said it was already arranged. "Do you want to?" Eli smiled a little, and it was empty. "I don't know. When I was on stage, everyone was crying. Someone told me that I saved him." He looked down at the coin. "If I stop, it's like I'm throwing them back again." This is the lock of heroic narrative. Once your trauma has been transformed into someone else's hope, it's hard to stop outputting it. Because stopping isn't just like protecting yourself. More like betraying those you inspired. Maya took out the second speech script generated by HeroDraft. The title is The Map Back, How I Found Myself Again. The Map Back, How I Found Myself Again. There are many beautiful sentences in the speech. Pain became my compass. I turned fear into direction. I returned not because I was saved, but because I chose myself. Lin Yao looked at the manuscript and his heart sank. Every sentence is powerful. Every sentence could be false. Not literally false. Rather, it organizes the pain that has not yet been understood into victory in advance. He asked Eli, "Do you really feel like pain has become a compass?" Eli was silent for a long time. "No." "Then what is it?" Eli's eyes slowly turned red. "It's noise." The conference room fell silent. "Sometimes it's just noise," Eli whispered. "No direction. No meaning. It doesn't make me stronger. I just survive." Lin Yao nodded. "Then this is your sentence." Eli looked up. "This is so negative." Maya said, "Maybe it's true." Eli looked at the speech, his hands shaking slightly. "But they need me to say there is hope." Lin Yao said, "Hope cannot be based on the fact that you have to pretend that the wound has turned into a gift." This sentence made Eli freeze. It was as if for the first time he was allowed not to sublimate his pain. Not converted. Not inspiring. Not to be a hero. Just admit it, it's just noise sometimes. Maya writes this sentence on the whiteboard. Trauma does not have to be sublimated to be worthy of care. Lin Yao added. Survivors don't need to be heroes to come back. This is the heart of New York's defense. Tokyo has to say, no proof is needed for unfinished business. Seoul has something to say, families don't need a show to succeed. New York has something to say, trauma doesn't have to become a heroic story. Eli lowered his head, tears falling on the table. He asked, "Can I cancel the speech?" Maya said, "Okay." He asked again, "What if I want to say it but don't want to say that article?" Lin Yao said, "It's okay." Eli was silent for a long time, and finally said, "I want to say something short." That night, the originally scheduled fundraising live broadcast still started. Everyone thought Eli would tell that more powerful comeback story again. He stood on the stage with the light shining on his face. There was silence for nearly 10 seconds. Then he said, "Last time, I said I turned fear into direction." That's the sentence in the manuscript. The audience fell silent. The truth is, sometimes fear is just noise. I didn't turn it into a compass. I haven't found myself yet either. I just survived. He paused. If you just survive, that's no less than becoming a hero. This paragraph is not as beautiful as the hero draft manuscript. There is no ups and downs. There is no perfect ending. But after the live message area was silent for a long time, a large number of responses began to appear. I needed this. I am tired of being inspirational. I survived. That should count. I just survived. This should also count. HeroDraft quickly issued a statement, saying that the tool only helps users enhance their expression and does not force anyone to adopt a heroic narrative. But Maya publicly asked it to disclose the use of data, the source of generated templates, and whether trauma narratives were used for model training. New York's pro bono legal community quickly followed suit. Heroic narrative absorption was named for the first time. A system prompt appears. New cross-city principle: trauma does not need to be sublimated to be worthy of care. New York Mirror: heroic narrative absorption is blocked. Warning: Atlas will look for mythical interfaces. Mythical interface. Lin Yao looked at these 4 words and suddenly remembered the earliest global virtual game. 3 Asian countries. Ninja. Olympus. Stories from various countries. All civilizations have their heroes, gods, ancestors, undead, warriors, and guardians. If Atlas wants to penetrate deeper into the world, it will not only use administration, medical care, and social welfare. It goes into the way every civilization tells itself. Tokyo's unfinished. Family and soul. New York hero. The next step may be mythology. Underscore 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 underscore. When Lin Yao returned to Taipei, it was still dark. Before the plane landed, there was a dark blue cloud outside the window, and the city lights in the distance looked like a constellation of stars that had not yet been extinguished. He has traveled to 3 cities in a row. My body was so exhausted that I was almost numb, but my mind was extremely clear. Atlas Global Mirror is not a replication system. It's more like something that translates itself. To Tokyo, it said, "I keep silence for you." To Seoul, it says, "I make your family better." To New York, it says, "I turn your pain into strength." Every word is like help. Every sentence takes away a part of the person's position. When Lin Yao returned to Obsidian's safe point, Qinwan had already organized the cross-city information into a wall. Tokyo, proof of incomplete. Seoul, perfect family template. New York, trauma hero narratives. Taipei, efficiency surrender and exhaustion collection. For cities, 4 entrances. But the underlying structure is the same. Transform the incomplete state that people cannot bear into narrative products that are acceptable to society. Silence becomes proof. Family chaos becomes a model for success. Traumatic noise becomes heroic story. Asking for help when tired becomes an index of efficiency. Lin Yao looked at this summary and whispered, "Civilization interface is not policy interface." Xinhuan nodded, "Policy interface processing system. Civilization interface processing meaning. Meaning is more difficult to dismantle than system. Because the system can be sealed, withdrawn, and reviewed. But the meaning is hidden in the stories people want to believe. Some people want to believe that silence requires a certificate because that gives families peace of mind. Some people want to believe that perfection returns to the family because it makes the chaos seem fixable. Some people want to believe in trauma heroes because that keeps the pain from happening in vain. Atlas does not enforce these beliefs. It just packages beliefs into tools and provides them to people. Xiaowu sat next to him and seemed to understand. She suddenly asked, "Can't that story help people?" Lin Yao looked at her. "This problem is very minor. Also very heavy." "Okay," he said. "Why is that bad?" Lin Yao thought for a while, squatted down and looked at her level. If stories help you breathe better, it can help you. If a story tells you that you can only be accepted by people if you become what it is, then it's trapping you. Xiaowu frowned and thought for a long time. So the story needs to be retractable? Lin Yao was stunned for a moment. Xinhuan looked up. Xiaowu said seriously, "If I feel that I am a brave person today and I feel that I am not tomorrow, I can change it." Lin Yao smiled slowly. Yes. He wrote this sentence in the responsibility book. The story must also be retractable. This may be the first line of defense for civilized interfaces. Not against the story, but against the irrevocable story. Oppose a person to be stereotyped as a silent person, a perfect family member, a trauma hero, a stable sample, or a return success story. Xinhuan immediately organized it into Article 11 of the Cross-City Principle. Any narrative that helps people must allow the person to later withdraw, rewrite, silence, or refuse to represent others. A system prompt appears. New Cross-City Principle, stories must also be retractable. Civilized interface defense line initially formed. Warning, Atlas will move to local mythology interface. Local mythology interface. This line of prompt has appeared once. Now that it's happening again, it means it's getting closer. Yi Jiwei connected remotely, his voice a little hoarse. I found some update packages for the Age of Gods. Lin Yao looked up. What update? Global narrative activity. Yi Jiwei said, the game company has ostensibly launched a new version called Echo of the Gods. Each regional server will open the main line of local mythology. Japan is the return of the underworld, South Korea is the guardian of the family, the American server is the new Olympus, and Europe has the Holy Grail and the Undead Nightline. Xinhuan's face changed slightly. Time? 72 hours later. Lin Yao's eyes darkened. As soon as the real-life Atlas mirror was interrupted by the city's defense line, the global myth event was launched on the game side. This is no coincidence. The Age of Gods was originally the entrance to the cultural stories of various countries. When the real system interface is blocked, Atlas may re-enter from the game myth interface. And myths are stickier than policies. Policies make people obey. Myths make people believe that they are fulfilling their destiny. Lin Yao asked, what do the contents of this event have in common? Yi Jiwei threw in the data. Although each zone server has a different story, it all has a similar mission. Choose your Echo identity. Japan Zone, Returner, Guider, Gatekeeper. South Korea, the heir, guardian, and scapegoat of the family. American servers, Hero, Priest, Rebel. European server, Witness, Holy Grail Bearer, Undead Knight. Southeast Asia, Ancestral Spirit Envoy, Contractor, River Crosser. The Chinese area has not yet been made public. But there is an untranslated code in the internal update package. Civilization narrative role binding. Civilization narrative character binding. Lin Yao felt a slight chill down his spine as he looked at this line of English. The story also needs to be retractable. What the God's Domain update needs to do is character binding. Let players choose an echo identity in the main mythology. Once this identity is connected to the Atlas mirror of reality, people may not only be organized by the system, but also positioned by the story of civilization. You are not a person who is not ready to speak. You are the returner. You are not a child who is oppressed by your family. You are the keeper of the house. You are not a person whose trauma has not yet turned into meaning. You are a hero. You are not someone who is forced to adopt someone else's version of yourself. You are the witness. These identities are not necessarily all bad. But if it is irrevocable, it will become a new lock. Lin Yao stood up. The game is about to re-enter the main line. Xinhuan asked, the main battlefield of the 4th season? Lin Yao nodded. The global mirror is just the outer layer. The real next step is for God's Domain to use local mythology to provide a deeper narrative role for Atlas. Songji woke up from the sofa, his face a little pale. He looked at the metal box and whispered, a lot of doors are about to open. Xiao Wu asked, will it be dangerous? Lin Yao didn't lie to her. Yes. Then what should we do? Lin Yao looked at the sentence just written on the responsibility book. The story also needs to be retractable. We get into the story, he said, but we don't let the story lock us up. Outside the window, the sky in Taipei slowly lights up. The city's defense lines remained on vigil. And around the world, the countdown to new mythical missions is underway. The real door to Season 4 is finally fully open. Underscore 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 underscore.